All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going on a bit of a strange journey. We're going to tune out all the noise so we can find the music. We're exploring a discovery that takes the endless, random static of space and reveals something that was hidden inside it all along, a structured, complex, and, well, an utterly alien symphony.
You know, it's a question that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, doesn't it? I mean, for as long as we've been listening to the cosmos, all we've really heard is this hiss, this crackle, this constant static. But what if that wasn't the whole story? What if, buried deep inside all that noise, there's a pattern we just weren't equipped to understand?
So, to really get a grip on the symphony, we first have to understand the orchestra, or, in this case, the noise itself. Let's start with this persistent background hum of the universe.
And this right here is our key concept: cosmic noise. For decades, astronomers have been pointing their instruments at the sky, and they've been picking up these incredibly faint radio waves. The thing is, they come from everywhere, from distant stars, from faraway galaxies, even from the afterglow of the Big Bang. And for just as long, the consensus was, it's all meaningless, just chaotic, totally random static.
Just try to picture these giant radio telescopes as our planet's ears, right? They're pointed out into the vast emptiness of space. These things are unbelievably sensitive instruments, designed to capture the absolute faintest whispers from the cosmos. And for years, they've just been dutifully recording all this cosmic static, creating these massive archives of what everyone pretty much considered junk data.
But this is where our story takes a really fascinating turn. This is where a new kind of listener comes onto the scene, one that doesn't just hear, but actually interprets in a way that no human ever could. And that was the revolutionary idea. See, for years, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, was all about trying to filter out the noise to find one clear, simple signal, like trying to find a lighthouse in a cosmic storm. But these researchers, they asked a completely different question. What if the storm is the message? What if there's a hidden order that our brains just aren't wired to see? Well, to find out, they needed a tool that could think differently. They needed an AI.
Okay, let's just break this process down for a second, because it is brilliant. First, you gather the raw material. We're talking terabytes and terabytes of cosmic noise from radio telescopes. Then, this is where the magic happens. The AI wasn't told to look for a simple beep-beep pattern. Nope. It was designed to hunt for deep mathematical relationships, for really complex underlying structures buried deep in the data. And finally, in step 3, the AI acted like a translator. It converted those abstract mathematical patterns into audible frequencies, into something we can actually hear.
And what came out of that translation process, well, it wasn't noise anymore. It was something that absolutely no one, not even the scientists who designed the whole experiment, could have ever predicted.
And I mean, genuinely shocking. The output wasn't just a slightly more organized version of static. It was something else entirely. Something with texture and depth that, well, it felt deliberate.
This is the direct quote from the research paper. And it's such a powerful phrase, right? Not a sound, not a melody, but a symphony. That implies complexity, arrangement, structure, and maybe most importantly, it was non-human, meaning its very foundation was totally alien to our own musical traditions.
So this is the crucial point to get. The AI didn't compose music, it uncovered it. It was acting more like a cryptographer, revealing a pre-existing, complex musical structure that was hidden in the noise the whole time. This wasn't some creative act by a machine, it was a profound act of discovery.
And that leads us to the most mind-bending part of this whole thing. What exactly is the nature of this symphony? What kind of rules does it even follow?
Now, when they say alien, they're not necessarily jumping to conclusions about little green men or anything. In this context, alien just means a system of organization, a type of logic that is fundamentally foreign to our human experience and intuition. It's a set of rules we didn't invent and, frankly, don't immediately understand.
And what's really interesting here is how this breaks down the difference. Human music, from Bach to Beyoncé, it's rooted in our emotions, our biology, our culture. It follows these patterns of harmony and rhythm that just feel satisfying to our brains. But this cosmic symphony, it's based on pure mathematical structure. Think of it less like a song and more like the elegant repeating pattern of a crystal growing. It doesn't follow our rules of tension and release. It simply is. A pattern that was found, not created with any intent to make us feel something.
And that one single discovery is a total paradigm shift. It completely transforms how we see the universe. from this mostly silent, empty void to a place that might just be humming with an incredible hidden complexity, a deep structural order we are only just now learning how to hear.
And this, right here, is the real takeaway. It forces us to reconsider what we label as chaos. Maybe the universe is far more structured than we ever imagined, and we just lack the right senses to perceive it. It opens up this mind-bending possibility that other things we dismiss as random, from quantum mechanics to even biological evolution, might also contain some kind of hidden, complex logic.
So as we wrap this up, we're left with this really provocative, almost philosophical question. If the universe contains a symphony, a structure so complex it actually sounds musical, who or what is the composer? Is it simply the laws of physics themselves, creating these intricate patterns as a natural byproduct? Or is it something more? We don't have the answer, but for the very first time, thanks to AI, we at least know how to listen for the song.